Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Well, virtual modern sports car championship action is here once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to round 6 of the 2025 calendar. We've hit the halfway point of the season and we're located at the southern tip of Seneca Lake. More importantly, we're at Watkins Glen International for the 1.5 hours of the Glen. My name's Alex Goldschmidt and I'll be joined in the booth today, as always, by my partner in crime, Mr. James Parfitt, who will also be doing double duty with the broadcast pictures that you see provided on both the JP Broadcasting Network and also the Champion Sim Racing YouTube channels live here for you right now. Let's take you through a reminder of the schedule. So, on the 12th of June, we're basically at the 1.5 hours of the Glen. It's the halfway point of the season. Then we head to Mosport on the 24th of July, Road America, August 21st, Indianapolis Road Course, September 25th, Road Atlanta, October 23rd, and the season will conclude on November 20th at VIR. Now, the track itself, Watkins Glen, been around since 1956, measures 451 miles, which is just over 5.55 kilometers, based in the suburbs of New York, and also has a lot of elevation change to talk about. But the keys to the race here tonight for round 6 are very, very crucial. Work through traffic, be patient. Make sure you get through at turn 1 of the 90 as perfect as you can. Mind out for sector 3 and also the entrance to the pit lane. The challenges for the hypercars, well, it's going to be anywhere between a 3 to a 5 stop race. They'll be running either on the medium or the hard compound tyres. The cars to beat will be the V Series Caddy, the Peugeot 9X8, the Porsche 963, and the Ferrari 499. Welcome back, LMP2s, to round 6 as well. But we've also got the GTs. They'll be running on the medium tyres, 2 stops, running between anywhere 30 to 35 minutes. The cars to beat here: the Mercedes AMG, the AMR Vantage, Ferrari 296, and the Porsche 992 GT3R. We are coming down to the final throws of hypercar qualifying here at Watkins Glen, and here are the standings. LMGT3 AM, it's Stephen Miller on 98 points, just 2 ahead of Alexander McQuarrie, with Paul Ibbotson running at the top 3. Max Southernlap took the win last time out at round 5 at Detroit. David Anderson 5th ahead of Tom Nacella, with Frank Radosti and Olivier Gervais rounding out the 8 strong in LMG3 AM. Then we take a look at LMGT3. Alan Holden is the new leader in the 296 Ferrari on 122 points. 11 ahead of Eric Jacobs. Ryan Paulbert Reyes has got some work to do. Dramas at Detroit. James Walker 4th ahead of Matthew Overton. Dave Kors, William Schlichling, Don Fryman and Daniel Kent ran out the runners that have scored points in the standings so far. Hypercar AM, it's Lanny Hall that leads on 99 points. 6th ahead of Carl Strahal with Norm Graft, Oliver Day, Scar Pope, who returns after a lengthy hiatus from round 1 at Daytona, Adrian Rice, Diego Rodriguez, and Philip Ducati round out the 8 strong in Hypercar AM. Hypercar, well, Daniel Kirby, he's got 4 wins out of 4, was disqualified at Detroit by opting to go in GT3s. So he was thereby disqualified by the powers that be. He's got a 2-point advantage over Troy Uyen. Ben Kesby took the win at Detroit and is third on 95 points ahead of John Mayer. Gilles Lalonde, Johnny Gutierrez, Brian Hall, Jerry Chan, Mike Bell, Egger Karabasak, and Sahil Mustak, who round out the 11 strong scorers. LMP2, Luciano Uchiazo is the points leader by 6, ahead of Alex King, Alec King, JT Tammy in third, ahead of Tucker Martin, Preston McNair, Mika Dern, Cole McMillan, Michael Locke, Becky Ely Clark, Tom Lane, Josh McGlinsky, Stuart Barge, Damon Nadrasic, Preston McNair, and Luis Lemos, rounding out the 15 that have scored so far. LSD Motorsports GT3 leads the teams by 14 points ahead of Dark Thunder Racing GT3. Champion Motorsports LMP2 have dropped down to third in the standings ahead of Vice Racing GT3. TP Performance by STM LMP2 are fifth ahead of Ram Ranch by STM. And Spin Doctors Racing round out the runners in terms of the team standings as we are here now at the Glen. And welcoming back into the booth, JP, in the final throes of qualifying. Glen is set to be a cracker and a classic.
Yeah, it always will be. Everybody knows the Watkins Glen, you know, nobody should have any dramas because they've all been here before, hopefully without any issues whatsoever. And this is the thing, I think, for some of these people, you know, they're going to have to sit back and figure out again what they've got to do. This is the problem with this. I drove around the Watkins Glen earlier on, actually, in a GT3. It didn't go so well. In fact, I spun at the last corner in a Mercedes and put it into the barrier, and that was the end of my race. To be fair, that's the first race I've done in ages, and it didn't really go that well. So, yeah, not good, but I think these guys are going to do better than I will, and hopefully show us some great action. It's good to have the LMP2s back as well. Detroit was a interesting race, I think was the word.
I'm going to bring a word in, and it's quite unusual for this time in the morning here on a Friday in the United Kingdom. An anomaly,
yes.
Let's say.
It was
very much it was one of those ones where you just thought, I can't really get to grips why. It was sort of like that question of why that has remained unanswered, to speak from our perspectives.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go watch it back. It was the new layout of Detroit, and it was very tight, and it wasn't for me. I don't know how these guys managed it. It's good to be back on a actual proper racetrack, to be fair, this time out as well. So I think for these guys, I think it's going to be a very nice welcome return to normal racing here as well, so coming towards the end of qualifying now. Scar
Pope having a bit old moment there.
Yeah, jumps himself straight back into pit lane.
Yep, and qualifying has concluded, but it's going to be Ben Kesby that is going to take overall pole position in Hypercar. And the Hypercar AMs are actually spread out quite a way over the grid, sandwiched in between the LMP 2 cars and also just in front of the GT3s. There are a couple of things. I think it's Gilles Lalonde who is on the grid, and he will have a stop and hold 15 penalty hanging over him from Detroit last time out. So he will have to serve that very, very early. We are very much getting ready and under starters orders. We're going to have 31 cars on the grid tonight, JP, and that is really going to provide a lot of action. Of course, Daniel Kirby, Mr. I like swapping cars more than I've had breakfasts in the morning, has switched to the Aston Martin Valkyrie this time, which we've seen do very good work in the hands of Hypercar AMs Norm Graff. Scar Pope returns after only having taken part in the 1.5 hours of Daytona so far. But Kesby and Karabasak have made it a caddy 1-2. I'm not going to spoil what happened in Hyperpole for Le Mans. If you have already watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the drivers now are going to have a little bit of a warm-up session. I mean, this track is just absolutely... Over the last couple of weeks, you and I have commentated on a multitude of different sim racing leagues, and it has provided absolute non-stop, close-quarter, fantastic racing.
Yeah, it has, and I think it will continue to do that. You know, we've got some great tracks coming up, which I'm pleased about as well, and I think that these guys are going to have to get used to the way the circuit is again. Up through the S's, of course, you want to be a little bit sensible on cold tyres at the beginning. Don't do anything dramatic, because I've done races here at Watkins Glen where just about now turns into a complete and utter car park. And I don't mean that in a loose term, I mean that in a literal term. There's like 4 or 5 cars spread across the track, and there's about another 8 or 9 waiting behind them if they've caught the yellow flag, of course. You know, there is that fear that some people don't observe yellow flags and use it as a situational thing to gain places, which doesn't always go so well, and they end up in a bigger crash, and we can end up with 8 or 9 cars mounted somewhere around the S's section. So let's keep that as clean as possibly can. But I think with the tracks we've got coming up as well, Mosport next time out, I'm looking forward for Mosport, because I think that's an absolute awesome track, and every league should go there in general. Road America, it's a circuit that we've seen continuously, and I think that people should be used to Road America by now. Indy's a different kettle of fish for me. I'm not a lover of Indy. I don't like the road layout. I think they just whacked it inside the inside of a grey oval, to be honest with you. But that's coming up as well. Road Atlanta is another circuit that we all know. They've all taken part in things like Petit Le Mans on multiple different plethora of sims and special series. And of course, we finish off at VIR, which again is a different kettle of fish compared to every other circuit. So they're going to be tested, Alex, over the next 5 rounds. And I think it's very important after the 1.5 hours at Detroit that they get off to a good start in the mainstream circuit end to the season. I think that's the thing. They've got to get this under their belt to be able to go into the next ones full of confidence. So we're looking forward to it. I think it should be good, and we'll see how these guys get on and see what happens here as well. I'm very interested to see how that wonderful 9X8 with that dodgy rear wing that's been whacked on the back end of it gets on here as well, because I think this could be a bit of a dark horse for the 9X8. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think there's could be a couple of other surprises.
Yeah, I mean, enough, let's talk about Johnny Gutierrez, because he has had no real amount of luck this season. I mean, he's always qualified at the sharp end of the grid.
Yeah.
And then within the first couple of laps, something just seems to magnetize its way towards Johnny Gutierrez, whether it's another vehicle or Edgy Cadabasac, just be careful there, sunshine. You nearly had a big old wobble in the lovely Pennzoil livery caddy for this particular round of the season. But he just has not had that combination of luck combined with speed and also controlled aggression, because that's what you need in these hypercars. You really need to grab them by the scruff of the rear wing and kicking and screaming around the circuit. And Johnny is able to do that, but he's just been in the wrong place, wrong time. Pretty much all season long.
Yeah, you're right. He's only got 5 finishes, out of the season. You know, he's had a DNF as well. We've had an ACC. I'm not entirely sure what an ACC is on their score system, to be blatantly honest with you. And obviously the suspension before. So I think for Gutierrez, if he can just keep it out of any drama, I think he would be all right. But it seems to be a lot easier said than done for us, you know, and that's going to be something that he's got to work on. He must know it's there, he's got to work on it and basically try and avoid some of what goes on, because he's definitely got the speed. He just doesn't quite seem to have the racecraft that goes with it. Dan Kirby, on the other hand, the Iceman himself out on the Valkyrie, well, he just goes around testing all the cars, I think, and deciding which one he's going to race in the modern series or for the VWSC. So for him, it's more of a test session. But again, still leading the championship, and he had a disqualification at the last round in Detroit, which some may say is harsh, but rules are rules. He changed class and unfortunately copped it on that one. We have been joined in the booth by Mr. Matthew Overton. Good evening, Matt. How are you?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. I'm doing very, very well. Very excited with 32 cars on the grid. So there'll be lots of action. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Tell us what an ACC is, Matt, on the score system.
Pardon me? Oh, the what?
ACC.
Oh, accident.
Okay.
Right. Yes, we were just discussing about the poor fortune that Johnny Gutierrez in the Peugeot 9X8 has had all season long. Like he's had the pace, he's had that controlled aggression, but it just seems that he's wrong place, wrong time. It seems like everything is magnetised to him at one point. You know, he gets off to a really, really good start, and then within the first 10 minutes, he's normally one of the first people to see returning to garage and retiring from the race. So hopefully in this second half of the season, Johnny can have a bit more lady luck on his side, let's say.
I think he's hoping for the same thing. He was talking about that, actually, and we'll see what happens. I know that Gilles would like his partner to be there for him at the finish line, too, to start scoring some points. But, again, we'll see what happens. Now, having said that, of course, there's no hypercar teams actually registered here, but certainly they are running as a pair. They run in both the VMSC and the VWSC. So every time both of the members of the pair finish is a good day. I'm going to have to jump back because we need to get ready for race. But hello to everybody, and big shout out at the beginning here to Alec King, who, as always, is making all this happen for us, and we're very, very appreciative.
Good luck from fourth on the grid in LMGT3, by the way, as well, before I forget.
Thank you kindly. All right, take care, gents.
Have fun, Matt.
So yeah, Matthew's going to start from P4 on the LMGT3 grid, as we see a man who had it all going his own way until
it didn't.
Monterey came around.
Yeah, he had it all his own way, right up to the point of where he didn't have it his own way.
But he pinned it twice, didn't he, at the same place?
Yeah, and that's the thing for Alec King. He's got to be mindful of what he's doing, because obviously Luciano Ricciardo currently is leading the standings in the LMP2s. Obviously they weren't at Detroit, but they're back again. So King was leading, and now he's not. So there we go, 6 points back from Ricciardo in the LMP2 at the moment, but obviously judging by warm-up, King is a little bit quicker. We'll have a look at the grid and see how he gets on. Again, dude, he's another one that's got to control his aggression. He's got to control the overtaking, the traffic management, the wall, clearly.
Like that.
Like that. He's got to control that. Otherwise, that race is going to be over very, very quickly for him. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he gets on. There's a couple of stories, I think, being written this season, Alex, and I think it'd be good to know how they get their ending, because I think the likes of Alex King, is Ricciardo going to be able to get King in the LMP2? Stephen Miller, of course, wasn't here at Detroit. Max Sunfenlap had it all his own way because he was the only LMP GT3 AM in there. You know, we've got Alan Holden, who's always been up and around the top in the GT3s, Lanny Hall in the Hypercar AMs, and of course Mr. Dan Kirby and Troy Uyan in the Hypercars itself. So lots of stories. It's going to be great. We're going to end up seeing how many chapters we get and who gets the best ending. Yeah,
also another GT3 story from the pro class, Ryan Pulbert Reyes. Difficult last two rounds for the Porsche driver, and you know, he's third in the standings. He was leading after 3 straight victories, but then for him at Monterey, it also all went wrong as we are coming towards the end of the warm-up session. Tucker Martin is another one that's also hit dramas this season. The good thing is the checkered flag is out for this 10-minute warm-up session here at the Glen before we go into the traditional 2x2 rolling start formation ahead of 90 minutes of racing. You know, Tucker Martin has also been one that's shown flashes of brilliance. We've seen that up and down the grid all the way through the season so far, but it's just now about, from this point onwards, it is about making no mistakes, And I think the subtitle for this race event should be "Patience is a Virtue."
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Tucker Martin again, 3 races he's been here for, wasn't here for the Laguna Seca, and obviously nothing at Detroit for the LMP2s. But you are right. There's going to be interesting to see how some of these guys cope, and the main line of the keys to the race: work traffic, be patient. Well, that's going to come into a massive effect, and we're going to find out how these guys get on. But here's the starting grid up for you now.
So here's the grid for round 6 of the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship. Ben Kesby and Egib Karabasak make it an all-caddy front row. Dan Kirby and Troy Uyan will make it Aston and Cadillac on row number 2. Then it's going to be Johnny Gutierrez with John Mayer for row 3. Jerry Chen in the leading Porsche will be joined by the Aston Martin of Scar Pope on row 4. As the field starts to make their way onto the grid. Ryan Hall in the Lamborghini SC63, joined by Carl Strahal in the number 52. Sahil Mustak and Norm Graff round out row number 6. Philip Ducati and Gilles Lalonde round out row 7 ahead of Lanny Hall and Alec King. Alec King, the leading LMP2 qualifier in this race. And we go to row number 9. JT Tammer will be joined by Tucker Martin, Michael Locke and Luciano Ichazo. LMP2 class standings leader rounds out your top 20. Next up, it'll be Preston McNair and Josh McGlinskey rounding out the LMP2s. Alan Holden, leader in the LMGT3s, will start from pole for this particular race of the season, and he'll be joined by the man in 3rd position, Ryan Paulbert Reyes. James Walker and Alexander McQuarrie round out row number 13 ahead of Max Sunthornlap and Matthew Overton. Stephen Miller will next up in 29th position. Ahead of the Chevrolet Corvette of Don Fryman with Tom Nacella and David Anderson in the Mustang and the Mercedes, rounding out your 16-row, 32-strong grid here for round 6 of the 2025 NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship here at Watkins Glen International. Yeah, just southern tip of Seneca Lake in New York, and look at the wonderful resplendent liveries on the respective cars. Kesby trying to keep both Troy Uyan and Daniel Kirby very much in his crosshairs, because he's got a point to prove. He can make some significant ground up this time as everyone makes their way through the inner loop, and then it's going to be down the cambered right-hander. And this is where the roller coaster starts here, James, at the Glen, where you go through the outer loop, then you're instantly down into the sweeping left-hander at the chute before the very tight complex at the toe and the heel at the boot.
Yep. And this is the main part. This is where you can lose time and you can gain a lot of time. In through the chute, coming into toe as well. They've got to be very mindful of that corner, because I can tell you one thing, this uphill cambered corner can cause a lot of dramas. If you don't hit the apex on the inside, there's a nice little tiny barrier waiting for you on the left-hand side there, so they've got to be mindful that that's going to be coming up as well. I'm not sure where Karabasak is going to go. He's got to drop back behind Ben Kesby again as he does so. This is going to be the interesting corner for me as well. Going down into the hill, they can take a lot of the outside area. Now, it was originally remodeled at Watkins Glen, and turn 1 and this one have kind of swapped their freeloader with the way the off tracks work. You know, I know in other simulators turn 1's very, very tight now. You can't really go over the curb, and that one you can a lot more. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go here. Very slight little lift coming into this left-hander before they go into the final corner, of course. So there's a lot that could go wrong here, but there's a lot that can go right when you nail it right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go racing for round 6, the second half of the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship begins right here, right now at the Glen for the next 90 minutes. It's Kesby and Karabasak, an all-caddy front row as they line up into position. Wait for them to put the pedal to the metal. Here in the suburbs of New York, we are underway. We're green here at the Glen. And a good start by Kesby. Pulls in front of Karabasak. And Kirby in the Aston Martin Valkyrie manages to get the jump on Troy Uyan. Carl Strahal leads in Hypercar M. Alec King in LMP2 as GT3 have Reyes and Holden alongside each other. Let's see which one gets the jump. Will it be the Ferrari or will it be the Porsche? They come across the start-finish line and now they start to accelerate. Reyes slots in behind Holden as the Ferrari takes the lead going into the 90 at turn 1. And a few drivers making their way up through what will be the S's before we get to the crest, then onto the back straight before they hit the inner loop for the first time. But Ben Kesby has already opened up a lead over Iker Kadabasak to the tune of 0.8 of a second, with Kirby hot on the heels of the number 1 Pennzoil livery caddy.
Yeah, Kirby's tucked in behind, and the Valkyrie, of course, here as well. Round the toe they go on the run down the boot straight, almost coming into the hill now. Kirby tucked in. Kesby's done what he had to do at the start. He's got away right at the beginning, and he's going to try and extend that gap. I think that's going to be more important for Kesby to try and do that. He's relying on Karabasak to try and stay in front of Kirby for as long as physically possible, and that's always might not be the case. Alec King leading the LMP2s, JT Tammy, Tucker Martin, Michael Locke, Luciano Ichazo. Ichazo's got his work cut out this time around as well. He's sitting down currently, where is he? Sixth in class at the moment. So he's got to try and make his way forward at the same time, or try something really fancy in the pit stops to try and have a go here, because I think it's going to be imperative that Ichazo can get up with King. Now, saving grace, as we know, this young man here in this position does like making mistakes, and he's got to be aware of that, and he's got to make sure he doesn't make them here when he gets, or if he gets up to the back of the likes of Lanny Hall, Gilles Lalonde, Sal Mastic, Philippe Ducati there as well. Let's go. There's lots to play for here at the beginning, but it's great to see that the GT3s are still putting up the fight. Alan Holden, Paul Reyes there, tucked in right behind him. No real gap starting to appear. And of course, we've got Alexander McQuarrie leading the GT3 AM, so a good job from him overall at the moment. So everybody's got off to a nice little flying start. Get settled in, get your hour and a half, start, looking at your strategy. Are you going to save? Are you not going to save? What's the situation going to be here as well? As that James Walker goes on the defense there, going into the chicane, bounce the curb, change down, get it accelerated out. It looks a lot slower than other simulators going through that chicane. So I'm going to be quite interested to see. Maybe it might be worth actually taking the car out for a spin and seeing what it's like through that chicane, because certain simulators you can go through there a lot quicker, and as you can see, Holden and Reyes battling out side by side.
Yeah, Reyes trying to put the frighteners on Alan Holden very, very early. Meantime, Max Hunterlap is closing in on Alexander McQuarrie corner by corner. Ross, we miss you as well, buddy. Wondering why you weren't here this evening, but of course, hopefully we'll see you back for the 1.5 hours of Mosport on July 24th for round 7 of the season. But yeah, Holden is really trying to keep Albert Reyes and James Walker, who's P3 at the moment in the LMGT3 class, as they will come through very shortly to head towards the start-finish line here at the Glen. Meantime, at the moment, Ben Kesby has already powered to a 2.3 second lead after the opening 4 laps in the number 9 caddy, and he's gapped Karabasek. Kirby trying to do what he can in the Aston Martin. It's not, he's basically at the sharp end of the standings, but if Kesby can keep his run of form going like he has done over the past couple of rounds, took the win last time out at Detroit, John Mayer battling away with Jerry Chen. Now this is for 6th in the Hypercar Pro class. Dentures, Alex, get your words out right at this time. We're only 5 minutes in, and Ben Kesby is already lighting up the timesheets purple. His fastest lap is a 1:32.2. Karabasak on the verges of a 1:32.4 that he's just done, but right on board on the 963 hybrid of Jerry Chen, closing in on the Cadillac V-Series of John Mayer. The caddy just seems to have the legs on the Porsche in the straight stuff when you look at it. 4-litre twin-turbo V8 behind the airbox cover. Jerry Chen getting very, very close to that wall there, coming through the S's as they're on the back straight. 300, that's over 190 miles an hour before they hit the brakes into the inner loop. And you can see Jerry Chen just trying to negotiate his way through there at the moment, but the way Ben Kesby is just striding away into the distance, this is rather pretty much very easy. As you see the class leaders, it's Kesby in Hypercar, Graf in Hypercar, Am.
Oh no.
Now it's JT Tammy,
No.
Tucker Martin.
Oh!
That was so close. JT Tammy closed the nose very quickly of Tucker Martin. He looked to dive on the inside through the first part of the inner loop, and Tucker Martin was lucky he did not collect himself and JT Tammy go exit stage right into the barriers through the second half of that. And that's the place where you and I both know we're going to see the most incidents here tonight.
Yeah, if they keep doing that, it's going to be a bit dangerous here. Glen Martin had the, should we say, the fortitude of the head to basically back out there, which was very, very lucky because JT Tammy was not giving him any quarter whatsoever. There was no parlay going on with JT Tammy over Tucker Martin. It was literally, nope, you are not coming through. We've got Kyle Struhel and Sahil Mustak further back here, and I will be able to show you why these young gentlemen have been at the back. This is Sahil Mustak first, who unfortunately caused himself a little bit of drama there at the same time. So we'll have a look and see what he got himself into, coming down into turn one here. And you see he's on the outside. He's going to run all the way round. Is he going to cause himself any problems after that? Doesn't look like it. He did manage to keep it going. Kyle Struhel, well, unfortunately, he's already running down the side of the grass there. So I'm guessing he's had some form of drama before that. And then he's done it again for poor old Struhel, and has ended up in the gravel. So both men out onto into pit lane nice and early. Now we're going to have to go down to Alan Holden and Paul Reyes down in the GT3s. I think Alex has got some form of connection issue going on here, as we can't actually hear him at this moment in time because he's got some form of little warning logo against his name in Discord there, which is quite interesting. But Paul Reyes now continue to fight in behind Alan Holden. Through the left-hander they go, up through the S's, through the right they go here as well. And Paul Reyes tucks in once more. Is he going to be able to make the move into the loop, into the outer inner loop of that chicane? Keep it close to the wall, over the first curb, over the second curb, and through they go here as well. I think Alex is back with us. Are you back, sir?
Yes, I couldn't hear you for just a moment.
No, you had a little yellow warning light against your name that said you're having trouble connecting to the room, apparently.
Oh, okay, that's strange. Oh, I didn't see any of that. It said voice connected, all green.
Oh, well, you're back now, sir, so that's all that matters. We're back down in the GT3s as Holden's opened up a little bit of a gap over Paul Reyes as well. But we have got the front two, well, Karabasak and obviously Kesby on their way through traffic for the first time.
Yeah, and they've just got through on the LMGT3 AM class leading battle between Alexander McQuarrie and Max Sunderlap, who are less than about three. They've just disposed of James Walker like he's rubbish, and now in front of the man that we're riding on board with at the moment, the overall race leader Ben Kesby gets through on Ryan Pulbert Reyes, and now he's going to have to get through on Alan Holden. Through, and that is close. That was coming into the final corner onto the pit lane entry, and Ben Kesby has now put further distance between himself and Karabasak, as Kirby's also now trying to negotiate the traffic. As I said, the subtitle of this race will be Patience is a Virtue. It is about picking your moments, and that is exactly what Dan Kirby's doing. That was neatly done, but also it had the cooperation of both Reyes and also Holden. Because round the outside, Troy Uyan, how close did you get to the barriers going through the S's? He's being pursued by Johnny Gutierrez in the Bad Day Racing 9X8 Peugeot. And that's the battle for P4. Their line astern as they go through the inner loop once again. And this is where it can make all the difference. back marker traffic can either help or hinder your race, and at the moment it's not really hindering anybody.
Gutierrez looking up the inside. He's using the traffic. Oh, he tried. He's got him pinned. He can't get him out. He couldn't get out. Gutierrez has got through. Troy Uyan could not get out behind Paulbert Reyes. Gutierrez blocked him in, used him beautifully. I've got to be honest. Gutierrez, take a bow, sunshine, because you used Paulbert Reyes as just a pawn there while you went round and took that position away from Troy Uyan. Beautiful. That is beautiful. That was how you manage traffic and how you use it to your advantage.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we've been waiting to see from Johnny Gutierrez from Bad Day Racing. Used Brian Paulbert Reyes like the assisting car on those sort of like stops that the LA police try and do, with the pit box maneuver. But meantime, as everyone else tries to get through, I think also Jerry Chen has also got through along with Oscar Pope. This is probably going to be the next person to go in. Alec King, in the meantime, now has a 3.5 second advantage over JT Tammy. And one of the things that I was thinking that might occur, obviously you look at the top speeds between the hypercars and the LMP2s, they're not that far off of each other, but with the way that the circuit is here at Watkins Glen, it's very much a flowing track here, JP. That you've got to make it work, and the hypercars are able to carry a lot more speed through the corners in comparison with the LMP2s. So we're now going to see Alec King get through on the Chevy Corvette of Don Fryman. No, he thinks better of it. Again, that patience being a virtue. I think Alec King, he made it rather easy to get around. He's going to try and get through on Stephen Miller. That was close. Oh my goodness, through the outer loop and into the chute. Alec King nearly 2 wheels on the grass, but what is that doing? Because he's fighting through the traffic, it's bringing JT Tammy closer to him. Gap was 3.5 seconds, now 2.1.
Dude, I spend my time on board with Alec King going through traffic. And Laguna Seca last season was a prime example. He literally gave me kittens at one point. I should never watch him, really. He scares the living daylights out of me the way he handles his traffic. And that's why I jumped on board with him, because they were coming in, as you said, saw them coming into the back. But he is just scary at times going through, like that on Stephen Miller. That could have gone completely Pete Tong as well. He's lucky he's got a straight...
JT Tammy's just lost out second to Tucker Martin. And there's a yellow out in sector 3. Has JT Tammy hit trouble?
Yes, he has. I will show you in a minute once I've finished having kittens of Alec King.
Kittens with King.
Yeah.
Coming soon to Channel U. 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, he just literally, dude, scares the living daylights out of me when he does this as well. And this is one of the downfalls, I think, of Alec King, that you can sit back and just think,
that's just a bit too risky there, Alec. He's a bit too impetuous for his own good, I think. Yeah, he wants to get through the traffic, but here is the replay where we're going to see JT Tammy. Now, he's turned it in. Oh, he's lost it on his own. Don Fryman nearly clobbered the front end of his car. He's had to wait, and there's still people. Oh, JT Tammy, you are such a lucky boy.
To me, to you, to me.
It's the 90-point reverse turn.
Chuckle Brothers all day, baby, for JT Tammy there, unfortunately.
I know. If you don't know what we're talking about, look it up on YouTube. Right. But JT Tammy, as a result of that moment, that was actually coming through the heel and then spinning going into the next corner. That has cost him, and he's now down in 7th, whereas the battle for P3 now between Michael Lock and LMP2 standings leader. Was that Max something lap? I think he just had a little bit of a 2 and 8 with. They're going to get past Alexander McQuarrie. Luciano Ichazo. Oh, don't try and get that close to the wall, please. Oh, dear.
He knows for Ichazo, he has to go with him. He has to go with Michael Lock, and he knows that. And it's very, very dangerous mindset being in that chasing car through traffic, because you know you've got to go. And if you don't go, you know they're going to clear you here as well. You can see Michael Locke sitting in behind Alan Holden, not really sure which way to go, but he's got him, I think, going up here. This is going to be interesting because the Charzo's not going to be able to get through on the inner loop. He's going to have to wait behind Holden, and that is going to give Locke a break. And Locke says, thank you very much. I'll have that on my bike, son. I'm going, because the Charzo got binned in behind Alan Holden there going onto the inner loop. But that is, you've got to think about where you are and what you're doing at certain points. Goodyear has showed us that you can manage traffic and use it to your advantage, and unfortunately everybody else that we've looked at seems to be using it to their disadvantage, and Charzo was one of them there, because he did not stay with Michael Locke and he lost 2.1 seconds rather blinking quickly. So for him it's going to be a bit of a struggle now as well, because he's got to try and get back up again once more here. So very, very difficult. But the only class that has really mainly stayed together for their leaders is this one of the GT3s. Alan Holden, Paulbert Reyes and James Walker in behind them. So there's like a 4-car train in the GT3s that have managed to stay together despite all classes coming past them.
Yeah, Alexander McQuarrie is at the back end of that quartet leading the LMGT3 AMS. There have been dramas for Troy Uyen in the meantime, though. He's dropped to 8th overall, and also in the class, as here goes the number 006, a Hill Mustang, making it 3 wide, and he's going to go up the inside of James Walker. And is that still?
It's an LMP2.
Is that the Charzo still?
No, it's not.
No.
I think it's Josh McGlinskey. It is McGlinskey sat in here. So McGlinskey's starting to try and get through. I think Mustang is trying to come back through again, because I think he's a lap down at the moment on the rest of the traffic after his pit earlier on. Troy Uyan did go into the pits, but he did get himself into something. I just want to see McGlinskey go past the GT3 leaders here, because they're having a right little ding-dong, so please don't touch them here as well. And as I say that, JT Tammy is trying to siphon his way through the last couple. Come on, JT. No, go. Up he goes without any dramas. But this is what happened to Troy Uyan.
Right, so that was when that would mean Johnny Gutierrez behind. Oh yeah, Troy's lost it pretty much at the same point as where we saw JT Tammy lose it. I think just turning it a bit too over aggressively at that corner, coming out of the boot, out of the heel of the boot, and get it completely wrong at that point on the circuit.
That was the Charles something lap.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a robust manoeuvre, but Max something lap, winner at Detroit, the only LMGT3 AM that actually made it to the checkered. I think we had, what was it, 17 cars, and
McGlinskey.
Oh dearie me, Josh McGlinskey, who qualified I think in the top 5 in the LMP2s, he has now ended up with really big.
No, you're in the middle of the track.
Oh, and he's doubled up the damage. It's double delight for damage at the rear for Josh McGlinskey. He's having to wait, and now it's going to be the to you again.
Whoa.
That's the 3rd time he's whacked that wall with the back end.
There we go.
Dearie me. So yeah, just goes to show that it's not easy, and we're only 20 minutes into this race, and the LMGT3 battle is still between Holden, Reyes and Walker. The gap between them is half a second at this point, and more to the point, we have had our first DNF. It's Don Fryman in the number 7 Chevy Corvette Z06 GT3R. Now, what's happened with Dom? Now, we did see him having to avoid JT Tammy earlier.
Well, I don't know.
Whether he's had a possible disconnect, maybe. It's not to say it's difficult, but
I can't really answer the question, to be honest with you, because I don't really know what he did. He just went straight back into pit lane. So it's a bit shocked by that one. Yeah,
maybe we'll get some information on that in due course. But more to
Look
the
at
point,
this.
oh, this is just absolutely mental. Folks, you do not want to touch that dial for at least the next hour and 10 minutes. Because things have got crazy at the Glen. It's 3 wide. Ben Kesby getting through on... That was the
Oh,
Lamborghini.
he's not.
Oh, he just had to avoid James Walker.
Oh, Karabasak's gone round.
Karabasak has just hit the wall coming out of the 90 through turn 1. Dan Kirby is through for second.
Kirby on the grass.
Kirby was mowing lawns quicker than Valtteri Bottas.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness me. He was at full speed, about 150 plus miles an hour, going through the S's. Kirby just went, yeah, hold my course light, and then just literally went for it. Kirby as alien-esque as ever. Karabassak has hit the wall. I think Gutierrez now is going to be P3. So Gutierrez is actually not that well. He's
still in
trying to
fourth.
do what he can. Well, he's quite a way back actually from Karabassak, about 12.3 seconds. But he's actually keeping himself out of trouble. Whereas Kirby is through on Karabassak, who's round the outside of Alan Holden. As
There's a back marker there, Alex. I'm trying to figure out.
Gilles Lalonde, that is, in that other Peugeot.
No, there's a back marker in front here. On the left-hand side. See him there? Karabassak.
Oh, that's probably Lanny Hall. Lanny Hall, I would imagine, in the Lamborghini.
Yes. He's just being lapped as well from the Hypercar AMS for Lanny Hall. So it was causing a little bit of confusion for me who he actually was there. Carl Struhl still running, but he's mixing it up at the GT3. Now this, believe it or not, is actually for position on the racetrack for Carl Struhl. So he's going to make up positions here. He's going to clear Walker. He should get the 2 Hypercar, other GT3s going down. Paul Reyes.
Oh, yes, up inside. Oh, that was a squeeze and a half.
There's a Valkyrie coming out of pit lane. Oh my God, it's all through all classes, not just these 2.
Oh my goodness me, I just hate to think what's going to happen now. And Brian Paulbert Reyes now round the outside of the S's. Walker on the back bumper of Holden as we go down the back straight in towards the inner loop. Is that Alexander McQuarrie trying to go through on James Walker? It is! And he gets through before the inner loop. Brilliant stuff there by the LMGT3 AM class leader on the man in 3rd position. And actually, that is a bona fide battle on track for position, folks. And look who's joined the party. Max Sunthornlap.
Yeah,
he's that Sunthornlap in front.
Yeah.
And McQuarrie's behind. So Sunthornlap has got through on McQuarrie, and Sunthornlap did that move. So my apologies there, Mac. That was a great move through on James Walker. Walker was caught slightly napping, I think, there.
Yeah, and he lost. Matt come through on that one. Paulbert Reyes was kind of the catalyst because he cleared Holden. Then we had Hypercars in there as well, and then Walker McQuarrie were all swapping around, and then Matt come in and said, well, if you guys are going to fight, I'm going to go and do this one. And he's taken a couple of positions in the run at the same time. So there was a lot going on there to decipher all in one go. And for Max Sunthornlap, it worked out amazing. Michael Lockle, Preston McNair, pit lane, Gilles Lalonde, pit lane, Lanny Hall, pit lane as well, all at the same time. Norm Graff is showing as leading overall here. I don't entirely think that's 100% correct. Well, it could be possible, depending if Kesby's gone into pits, because Alec King is sitting in 4th overall as well. So I think there's been some pit stops that has jumbled everybody around, because if you look on the left-hand side at this moment in time, there's a lot of people in and around out of position. Graff is in pit lane, King's in pit lane, Kesby back in the lead, Kirby in the lead, Karabassak coming through. These guys, he's going to hit a couple on the way out. That is Gutierrez. I believe there's Gutierrez in and around that. No, it's not Gutierrez. There's Gilles Lalonde in front of Karabassak, to be honest.
Who's got who when he does go into the pits, he's got, well, if he's already served it, his stop and hold.
He
15.
might have already served it. He's a long way back this early on, Alex, to be fair. So I think he's already served this one.
Carl Strahal actually mentioned in the Discord chat earlier on, Earlier today, I broke my wheels, so I had to resort to my backup, which is the Logitech G27. Bringing out the classics.
Nice.
Bringing out the classics is Carl Strahal. Great job there. But this is the battle for P3 on the road. Johnny Gutierrez, just past the 25-minute mark, is 1 place away from the top 3. So Cadabasac had that big old wobble. There's Gilles Lalonde, the sister car to Gutierrez. He's way down the order. He's 19th overall, and more to the point, Lalonde is currently 10th out of the 11 hypercars that we've actually got running in the pro class. But you've got a yellow out in sector 3. Johnny Gutierrez has lost a little bit more time to Edgar Cadabasac and the Pennzoil liveried Cadillac, which I have to say I really do like that livery on that car. That is normally seen him in a purple caddy, and now he's brought the he's done like the old Penske squad back in the IndyCar, either kart or IndyCar back in the mid 1990s, where the Pennzoil livery was a bit of a deeper yellow or a gold like we've got here.
It's definitely a nice livery that Cadabasac has brought. He's just got to remember he's not in an Indy car or anything dangerous, and it doesn't have as much grip as all the others. Josh McGlinskey, unfortunately, is DNF'd, but he has had drama.
Oh dear. So.
Oh, mate.
Oh, he was going into pit lane. Give it the berries on the loud pedal and accidentally spun himself around or something. That is unusual. Wait for it. Oh, just loses it. Bang, straight in the barriers.
Yeah,
As if insult to it wasn't bad enough with the Tamiti multi-point turn coming out of the chute.
Yeah, and then he calls it a day after that. So his second DNF for Josh McGlinskey there at the same time. Alan Holden is still leading. Somfenlap, Walker, McQuarrie and Matthew Overton, who is just trying to get onto the back as well. But Cadabasac is coming through once more, and hopefully he'll be able to manage this traffic cleanly. I'm going to presume he would do that without any dramas. That GT3 is going to wash out, mate. Take the inside line. There you go. Good lad.
Happy days.
Yeah, without any dramas for Cadabasac. Alex King is ahead of Philippe Ducati. That's a Hypercar Pro LMP2 swap there. Gilles Lalonde, Lanny Hall, Solmastic and Carl Strawhall all sort of mixing in and around the LMP2s as well. Oh, dude.
And Cadabasac is just threading the eye of the needle too close to the GT3s. This is not going to be easy. Alan Holden, 2 wheels on the grass at full throttle. Cadabasac gets through, and that is going to further elongate the gap between Brian Pulbert Reyes, who's just gone through shot, and Alan Holden, who now is the cork in the GT3 bottle right now. Oh no!
Gutierrez.
There, Johnny Gutierrez, and that was into the right-hand side.
Overton there as well. Boss man himself. He's got to put the boss man in the wall. Well done.
Oh, that's going to be a drive-through at least, I would think.
Oh, yeah, he'll throw him a DQ or an everything, will he? Yeah, I mean, go on, Matty. Chuck the book at him, son.
Chuck the book at him, including the kitchen thing.
Yeah, go for it. There we go. I was keeping an eye on Gutierrez there for a brief moment because I thought he might have been able to get a little bit closer to Cadabasac, but unfortunately he didn't, and Gilles Lalonde didn't hold him up there. Alec King is now going to start coming back in through the traffic again. Philippe Ducati in the background mixing it up here. I do expect him to get hold of King and start going through. Gilles Lalonde, Lanny Hall, Solmastic and Carl Strawhall were all a lap down with Preston McNair on their hypercar partners. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to manage things. John Mayer is on his way through traffic as some of the GT3 there was peeling into pit lane. I think that's going to be Matty Overton in pit lane. Tom Nacella and Alexander McQuarrie, actually, so my mistake, go into pit lane as we pick up on this John Mayer, Troy Uyan situation, of course. And for Troy, he's trying to kind of make a recovery. Block him in, block him in, block him. Oh.
He nearly got through on John Mayer then. He nearly got through on him. John Mayer now goes towards the outside. This is going to be very, very close to the wall on the left. Right, Uyan. Yeah, that is Alan Holden to the left. And Uyen's going to have the inside line for the inner loop. Just make it nice and cleanly through. Does so. And round the outside, attempts to... not too... that was probably
Lanny
Philip
Hall
McCarthy.
was...
Lanny Hall was there. I did see an Aston Martin. Interesting stat, though, at this moment. We've got an Aston Martin Valkyrie second in Hypercar Pro. And it is an Aston Martin 1-2 in Hypercar AM. Carl Strahal now pits for the second time in this race, as we are past the first half hour being completed. So Norm Graff, who's he's really enjoying the challenge of this car, and we had a really nice chat with him after Detroit, didn't we? And he just said, I'm just going to keep on using this car. It's, you know, I always like driving something different, and I like it when you get some drivers that are, apart from Daniel Kirby, where variety is the spice of life is a sentence that's probably not known to him, where you get someone like Norm Graff who goes, yeah, I thought I'd give it a try, and I really love it. And that's the thing, and he's sticking with the car for the season, and that will just show how much he will progress in the Hypercar AM class over the course of the next 5 rounds after this one.
Yeah, it's definitely easier driving one car, you know, for individuals, should we say, like me, right? You know, I couldn't cope swapping cars every single week. The difference is I'm not an alien, you know, and Dan Kirby seems to be a spawn of Max Verstappen, you know what I mean? He can just jump in any car and crack on and away he goes. So if that's what Kirby can do, then fair play to him. And it's allowed in the rules, then he's quite happy to go and do that. Obviously, he can't swap classes, as we found out from Detroit there, where he did get DQ'd. Some laps in pit lane. Where are you, Stephen Miller? Miller should take the lead in GT3 AMS now, and he has done that there for Stephen Miller as well. So that's put Matty Overton in 4th overall. McQuarrie's been in pit lane as well. So they've dropped down the order. 2 DNFs at the moment, which is Dom Fryman and Josh McGlinskey. We saw why McGlinskey DNF'd due to the fact that he spun it going into pit lane. Michael Locke is sitting here in the LMP2s. He's chasing Tucker Martin, who is just up the road. And both of them, of course, are chasing Mr. Alec King, but he's a little bit further up the road than that.
Yeah, Luciano Ucciarzo coming into this round of the season, leading the way after the dramas at Monterey at Laguna Seca. And you can just, Luciano Ucciarzo just throwing absolute caution to the wind through the inner loop, and he is starting to close in on this battle. So it is going to be a 3-car race between Michael Locke, Tucker Martin and Luciano Ucciarzo. I mean, the gap that Alec King has got now is the best part of 20 seconds. And we're only half an hour through this race, so there's still a lot to play for here at the Glen.
There is. Yeah, they've still got an hour to go, which seems bonkers. It seems like we've had enough action to last for a whole hour and a half already, and we've still got 56 minutes left. So fair play to these guys for keeping up this pace, because to be honest, there's probably some people who've been absolutely knackered already after this half an hour. Stephen Miller there is going to find himself in a very bad spot with Tucker Martin. I told you, very bad spot. Ucciarzo is going to go and try and squeeze it around the outside. He does, but that gives Ucciarzo a sniff at Martin now, as these guys are going to go down and start finish straight into turn 1, the 90. And Ucciarzo finding himself in... that was from Martin there. It was more of a reactive move than a proactive move. He didn't proactively go to defend him. Ucciarzo had to go out to make Martin move. So Martin's got to be a little bit proactive on his defence there.
Yeah, he's got to be a bit more aware and be a bit more, as you said, proactive. Not try and react straight away, because if he does the 2 moves into 1 not allowed, then that straight away will incur the wrath of the race officials. But Luciano Ucciarzo, who we ride on board with now, you can just see how close it has become between these 3 drivers battling away over the scraps of the dinner table, whereas Alec King is comfortably leading. That gap is just expanding every single lap, and Alec King is just in a comfortable position at the moment now. I mean, his lead is now nearly half a minute, which is not at all a surprise. I mean, we saw how good his performances were at Daytona, Long Beach, and then Sebring. And again, now that he's had that, that one round away, it's been able to allow him to reflect, get refreshed, and get ready to be fighting tooth and nail in the second half of this championship season, because we're going to be going right the way until about 5 weeks before Christmas, folks. 20th of November is when we crown our 2025 NARS VMSC champions in their respective classes. So expect the battles to go right down to the wire. I would say to at least Road Atlanta, maybe even to VIR on the November 20th finale. Here we are with Tucker Martin on Michael Lock. He's bump drafting him. And again, Michael Lock goes across the grass. This is not also helping the hypercar that just went through. Was that Ben Kesby having to avoid?
Mm-hmm.
Tucker Martin. And there is Luciano Icharzo round the outside on Michael Lock to take P3. And now here is Dan Kirby. And he's closed that gap to Ben Kesby now. It was, what was it? Probably the best part of about 5 seconds. It's now down to 1.7. So as they always say, never count out Dan Kirby. Here comes the replay. You can see now, yeah.
Kesby kicked that
off.
off. He kicked that off going in because he got his entry wrong here. He was too tight. He couldn't get the car stopped. He ran wide, and then all of a sudden, everybody's in and around, jumbling in and around him. Then Tucker Martin has his own little bit of a drama coming down here as well. He gets a bit of a wiggle on, misses the wall. Look at that big old snake there. And Icharzo says, thank you very much. I'm going to go around the outside at the same time of Michael Lock. So it was kind of Ben Kesby's own non-patient category, should we say, that kind of kicked that off, as Kirby's now in the mix, trying to clear Tucker Martin and Icharzo as well.
And he goes round the outside of Tucker Martin at full pace through into the S's, and now Luciano Icharzo has that window of opportunity. That gap is closing. It was about half a second. It's now 4/10 as they go down the backstretch. He's not going to be close enough behind Tucker Martin as they go through the inner loop now into the cambered right-hander and down the hill through the outer loop here at the Glen. But still, we have plenty of action still to come over the next 52 minutes. But more to the point, Kesby now being closed in on by Kirby for the overall race lead, as we are fast approaching 40 minutes being completed on the timer here at the 1.5 hours of the Glen for the 6th round of the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship 2025 here in the southern part of New York. My goodness, what a race it's been so far.
Yeah, Icharzo, I will tell you now, Icharzo needs to get ahead of Mr. Martin. The reason why he needs to get ahead of Mr. Martin, if Alec King's going to take 30 for the win, it's going to put him on 120. Icharzo needs that 26 to go on 122 and stay ahead going into the next round. Mind you, by 2 points, but he's still staying ahead. So it's the same with Stephen Miller and Alexander McQuarrie. McQuarrie needs to stay where he is in the GT3s to get their 26 points, with Stephen Miller down in 4th at the moment. So Miller needs to get a little bit of a move on as well and try and clear something lap, which it's not easy either, to be blatantly honest. But Icharzo could do with getting that second place from Tucker Martin if he is able to. Going up to the hypercars at the moment, we've got Troy Uyan, John Maya and Jerry Chen. They've not really left each other alone, and they're still not leaving each other alone now.
That's the battle for P5 with Jerry Chen in that wonderfully bright chrome red Porsche 963. Uyan now coming at him. He's going to pull it to the outside line down the back stretch, and Uyan round the outside gets through, and well, Jerry Chen can't really fight that one. He thought, well, I'll keep myself to the inside line as best I dare, and Troy Uyan just threw it around the outside. Oh, Jerry Chen on the grass and nearly scraped the wall coming out of the chute there. He was a very, very lucky driver in that Porsche 963 hybrid.
Yeah, that inside line going into that inner loop chicane, it's not ideal. And because you've got to tighten up your entry, and it's really hard when somebody's alongside you, I would rather be on the outside and just make sure that they've got to do the same thing. Because you saw it with Kesby. That's the leader of the race. He was on the inside of GT3 traffic, and he couldn't make it work. Oh, Preston McNair's facing the wrong way. Oh, we've seen this before.
Preston?
JT Tammy-esque, remember?
Yep. Code Brown, bang, in the wall.
Yep, JT Tammy-esque there for Preston McNair. Wait. To me.
To you.
Yep. It's not going up the wrong way. Get it round. There you go, because... Oh, no. He ended up facing into the barrier. Oh, wrong way.
That was a failed Nitro Circus stunt there, a la Travis Pastrana. Didn't quite go the way he planned.
No, he's got to get it round. There you go. Good job there, buddy. As he finally gets it on his way. Poor old Preston McNair.
Oh.
We never saw a thing, dude. Honestly, I promise. Either for him. But
I didn't do it.
No, we didn't see nothing. It wasn't me. But there we go. God. Too early in the morning for this. Jerry Chen and John Mayer still fighting it out here as well. Yeah, so as we were saying, that inner loop, the inside line, doesn't work. Kesby couldn't make it work. He ended up being too tight on his entry, ran wide, caused a little bit of drama. The LMP2's behind. Jerry Chen was in the same situation. Because of Troy Uyan had the fast-flowing outside, which gave him the inside for the whole of the chicane. Jerry had nothing to do. He couldn't tighten it up anymore to make sure he didn't hit the barrier. And if he ain't careful, that's going to happen continuously. I'm hoping he's going to learn now, with the likes of the fact he's got John Mayer in behind him, and Mayer will either see what he's done and try and force him to that inside line, or Chen's got to use his brain and say, hold on a minute, I've just been done an absolute kipper the last time around. You have the inside now as well. So we'll keep an eye on this run and see what he gets up to here.
Yeah, it is going to start to get to that point when we hit half-time in about 2 minutes. The 45 minutes ago, and you can see there are the class leaders. Kesby in Hypercar, Norm Graff, and then it's going to be Alec King.
Oh, he's saving fuel.
Yeah. Who, Jerry Chen?
No, Mayer, on board with Mayer there. That engine just went, he literally just lifted off the pedal and just kept it there. He just didn't have no pace, no overlap, no nothing. And he just went, man, I'm not going through, Jerry, you carry on, son. So that's exactly what he did for John Mayer there as well. He just kind of went and lifted off, and that's why the whole engine on the steering wheel just went blank, because he was just like, nah, ain't going anywhere. So I don't know if John Mayer is actually going to start attempting to go anywhere there either. Philip Ducati is back in pit lane. Alec King still leading the LMP2s, of course. Paulbert Reyes, GT3 Pro, and Alexander McQuarrie, GT3 AM. So some good things going on at the moment in this race.
Yeah, Philip Ducati looks to be doing a well, I mean, I did say with regards to the challenges for the hypercars is that you either be pitting anywhere between 3 to 5 stops. Well, Philip Ducati, who is a lap down, that's lap 28, he's now coming for his second pit stop. That effectively means that it's a stint time for him for 14 laps per stint at the moment. We've got a yellow out in sector number 2 here at the Glen.
Oh,
So,
no. Oh, no.
What's happened? Don't tell me.
What did you do?
Oh, Alan Holden. Oh, what's happened to him? Oh, no.
He just got that all wrong. He comes into the middle of the circuit.
I'm sorry, but that rejoin was no bueno, I'm afraid, Alan Holden.
No, but that was so weird. Watch, he's got nothing wrong here. He should brake early enough. Decides
unless he's had some type of issue with his direct drive or his steering wheel, because that car went straight on, didn't it? He's tried to turn in, the car won't turn. He's on the brakes.
Yeah, but there was so much indecision. It's either take the chicane take the grass or take the exit road, and he kind of didn't do any. He tried to take the grass and then go to the road, which seems a bit bizarre because he should have just gone straight on. And then this, well, yeah, I don't think your name's going to be popular. No, your name ain't going to be popular after that one. So he didn't really take the exit road, Alex. He didn't really take the grass and drive him straight, and he didn't really go and make the chicane. So he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you have had it before where there have been slight glitches in software where the person's tried to turn in and it's not quite worked. I mean, there was no movement on that steering wheel until he came across the grass, hit the brakes, and the back end swapped axles with the front, and then the steering started engaging. So whether he's had I've heard of it happen before where someone's direct drive or force feedback has just gone, computer says no, doesn't want to engage, and then we'll have a fit for about a few seconds. So yeah, that'd be quite interesting to find out what happened there. Meantime, Troy Uyan is closing in on Johnny Gutierrez, who is now currently P4. The gap between these two, about 8 or so tenths of a second, as they're both trying to make their way through traffic at the moment. And well, that is another car in between Gutierrez and Uyan, as now Uyan tries to go through on the GT3 car. That was very, very close, but he managed to make it through. So yeah, Alexander McQuarrie, the LM GT3 AM class leader. And so yeah, it's just been interesting development here though. LM GT3 P3, Alan Holden is now only one and a half seconds, and our good friend is just seeing another set of pit stops starting to happen. Lap 31 here for the Hypercars. So we're probably looking, I would say, anywhere between a 15 to a 17 lap stint at most, if you're lucky. So we're probably looking, I would say maybe another pit stop will be required at least.
Yeah, I agree.
I would probably say we're looking at 4 stops on Hypercar in general, as Daniel Kirby after lap 31 has come out and is still, well, he's 54 seconds behind Ben Kesby, continues to lead overall.
It's somebody at the wall at the back of the straight. See him?
Oh yes, was that Troy Uyan possibly?
No, it was Alan Holden again.
Oh, it's gone from bad to worse for Alan. And this is coming. Oh, this is coming through the S's. Oh, he's hit the wall on the right-hand side. He's glanced. He's pinballed over. Oh, he's nearly rolled it.
It was all on his own.
Betsy. Yeah. Well, I mean, when he came through the S's, you're going to see the back end's getting a bit of a twitch.
Oh.
He flips the wall. It pinballs him onto the other side. Nearly puts the 296 on its lid. And that, I'm going to say here, I mean, there's no Eric Jacobs, but what is this going to mean? Ryan Paulbert Reyes, how far is he behind this man in the points at the moment? Trying to remember.
14 points back. 108 for Reyes, 122 for Holden.
Well, this could I mean, Alan's car does not look, I mean, I did see it cut. You can see it's not working as it should do, because that right-hand side took a big wallop when it spun around and hit the wall, coming out of the S's onto the backstretch. So
he's going to survive.
He's survived it, but how bad is that damage to that Ferrari? Now, is he going to be the sensible person and pull it into pit lane? The answer is a definitive yes.
Question is, does he come back out?
Yeah, because if he doesn't come out, is that going to be a no score?
Well, it's going to be a DNF, isn't it? Surely he's got to come back out.
DNF.
If he stays where he is, he'll be 2 points ahead of Paulbert Reyes. 30 for Reyes, which would be 138 for him. Holden is 4th in class, is he at the moment? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, yes. 4th in class. So he will get 18 no, 16 points. No, it is 18
That'll be
points.
1-3.
18 points, so he'll be on 140. Paulbert Reyes will be on 138. So it's going to be very close in all classes here. The same with Luciano Charzo and Alec King in the LMP2s. There's a lot of Alec King leading is going to give him 120. Charzo, if he stays where he is at the moment, he's in 4th, but there's a couple of people in and around him that have not pitted. He will be on 18, so that could all jumble around as well. But Charzo, as we know in LMP2, needs 2nd place here at the same time. So, yeah, lots going to happen over the next lap or so, I think, dear sir.
And also, by the way things are going over the next few rounds as well. So because even though we are now into the second half of the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship, there is still plenty of points up for grabs. And more to the point, well, Ben Kesby really has started to bring the second half of his title campaign here in 2025 alive with what has been happening. Got a yellow out in Sector 2. Which has just briefly been retracted. And right, James, what have you spotted?
I think this is our very own good friend to me, to you, Mr. McNair. Oh, it is.
Oh dear me. The TP Performance by STM car that was coming out of the inner loop. Code Brown, clean up on aisle 3. And luckily enough, he didn't hit the barriers. Otherwise, there would have been more of a bigger Code Brown than that.
Yeah. Getting your joint done, there you go. So for him, he's going to have to be, a little bit mindful. Not great going in for Preston McNair at the moment. I'm just trying to do some maths, which I don't know if I really should be trying to do. I
don't. That's why I've stayed well clear of it tonight, because I just thought there's going to be enough for us to concentrate on here at the Glen. JT Tammy is now in. He's been in for his pit stop.
Oh no!
What else have you spotted?
That. Watch this again.
Is this the Mustang?
Yeah, Tom Nacella. Watch this. Bang! Same.
Oh, he's done exactly the same thing as Alan Holden.
How are they losing that coming up the hill? It's very tight, but there's no. If you listen to the car, there was no lifting. Didn't sound like he braked.
Maybe it's the turning. Yeah, because if it's understeering from the front end, then what that's going to do is that's going to keep the car on its trajectory. That's probably why. And yeah, Tom Nacella on the spot has retired.
Yeah, that's
DNF,
4
one of the
DNFs.
nights.
Preston McNair has also DNF, but poor old Preston had a rotten evening. Let's be real. So there you go. They're all a little bit more spread out now across the way at this moment in time. So we're going to have to give them, this is kind of the F1 period of the race where you're asleep on the sofa, because it's going to be a boring middle section. And then it will be heating up towards the end, I think, once the pit stop cycles and strategies really start playing a part. Paulbert Reyes has got James Walker chasing him down in the GT3. Alexander McQuarrie has got Max Sunfenlap not too far behind in the GT3 either. So it's imperative that Holden, in a way, although he's had a dreadful, I don't know, last 5 laps, should we say, it's imperative for him to keep going to hold on to the lead of the class. So he has to keep going regardless. He may be out there and he may be sitting there thinking, stuff this, I'm done here. But he can't be done, because otherwise he'll lose the lead by an absolute ton. So it needs to keep going for Alan Holden at this moment in time to get some points to keep that title hopes alive. But still, you know, if it happened to him, it can happen to anybody. And I think that's what we're likely to see here. But James Walker going around like a quiet little ninja, just sneaking himself up into 2nd place there, which is amazing for him, because he's sitting in behind Paulbert Reyes. And he could gain a good, nice little 26 points on this at the moment. So for him, he's not completely out of the championship either.
Yeah.
Because he'll be on 122, so he ain't too far back from the 138 and 140.
No, when you think about it, you look at the different engine powertrain solutions for the cars. Like say with the Aston Martin, it's a twin turbo 4-litre V8, which will have a lot more grunt in a straight line in comparison with the 4-litre flat six boxer engine that's on the rear axle of that Porsche 992 GT3 that Ryan Paulbert Reyes is running at the moment, and the gap between them has dipped under 1.1 seconds for the first time in a very long while. Make that 9 tenths as well, Reyes has to keep out of the way of hypercar traffic. We're just under 4 minutes away from hitting the final third of the 1.5 hours of the Glen here for round 6 out of 11. And yeah, things are really starting to heat up. Walker closing in on Reyes. Porsche versus Aston in the LMGT3 side of things. It's Aston versus Aston in the LMGT3 AMS with McQuarrie and Sunth on lap. 1.5 seconds adrift. Ben Kesby leading for Cadillac in the hypercar class out of the Aston Martin of Dan Kirby. And then it's a 1-2. Norm Graff and Philippe Ducati in the hypercar AM classification. Alec King leading Tucker Martin in the LMP2s by just shy of 20 seconds. As Jerry Chen, don't stick your nose up there, sunshine. That was a bit too close for comfort there for the 963, battling away with, funny enough, I think that was Scar Pope just in front in the number 21 Aston Martin, which it is. And then straight away goes through Troy Uyan, who's running 8th overall. It's been a difficult race for Troy. Dramas earlier on in the race, and now is having to fight back a little bit here. So Ben Kesby could be ahead of Troy Uyan by the time we go to Mosport on July 24th for what will be effectively round 7 of the season. But Scar Pope keeping Jerry Chen behind, but Troy Uyan looking to get quickly past Jerry Chen and maybe even through on Scar Pope to take what will be 6th in the hypercar class overall.
Yeah, he is. I'm trying to work something out here because these team standings between Shadtree, Dark Thunder and LSD are going to jiggle up quite a lot here as well. So the team standings is going to be up for grabs because McQuarrie and Overton at the moment. McQuarrie's on...
Sorry, jumping, taking breath from my side because Troy Uyan, Jerry Chen and Scar Pope. Look at this, 3 hypercars battling down the backstretch. And it's going to be 3 wide. Troy Uyan to the inside of the inner loop, but does not make it through. Scar Pope and Jerry Chen keep ahead. And Jerry Chen gets it nearly all crossed up through the second half of that chicane. And nearly could have spiraled exit stage left into the barriers. But Troy Uyan, you did not need to chance it there, sunshine. That was a move that was quite clearly not going to happen.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. He needed to be a little bit closer and trying to not do it into the inner loop. That's probably the best bet. You might want to be looking down into more sort of sensible parts of the circuit because that's where they most of the overtakes should take place, dear sir.
Yeah, the inner loop is always the out of any modern day or current circuit, the inner loop when it comes to cars going 3 wide is the one that I really, really fear for something going wrong, because 2 wide fine, 3, Houston, we have a problem is what really comes into my mind, or words to that extent, which I can't really repeat because they're unbroadcastable. But we are going to hit the final 30 minutes still to go in this battle between Pope, Chen and Uyan, going on like an absolute freight train as they get past the number 424 of Stephen Miller in the McLaren 720S GT3, currently running in the top 3 in his class, but again through the S's as Jerry Chen, 2 wheels on the grass, trying on the inside. Troy Uyan to the outside, and is Uyan going to get through? He bumps into the side of Jerry Chen. Oh, not again, guys. Like, literally, don't try and do it there. You're going to give us in the commentary box more than kittens.
Chen
He
didn't
was
learn.
open.
He didn't
No.
learn. He took the inside again, Alex. He didn't learn. And, yeah, he come a cropper there as well. Be on the outside as well. I can give you an update on the teams as well after my quick maths that I've just done. Dark Thunder Racing will take the lead in the teams, closely followed by LSD, with Shadtree will still only be 2 points behind LSD. So LSD will be on 218. Shadtree will be on 216, and Dark Thunder will be on 229. So McQuarrie and Overton having a great points haul in the team standings at the moment as well, currently. So there we go. As for that, that's my brain completely worn out now, and I am done with maths for the evening, because that was a tough one to work out.
I think the only thing that I've been noting down is pit stops of the first set of laps when respective classes have come in. I think Philippe Ducati is currently in the pit lane, second in Hypercar Am. As again, just this battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Jerry Chen has been dropped like a bad habit. Troy Uyan now trying to put the frighteners on Scar Pope to the outside on the exit of the S's. Needed to wait a little bit longer, but Troy Uyan on pure pace goes round the outside down the backstretch. That's how you get it done. Or the inner loop.
But he needs that, Troy.
Yes.
Because even for the championship standings, he needs it. He's sitting in second at the moment, and he's seeing Kesby and Kirby run away at the front, and he's got Gutierrez chasing him down. Myers ahead of him on the track as well, and Myers only behind him in the championship. So for Troy Uyan, he needs this. It's imperative now. He's got to get on up through the order to try and maintain his position in the standings, and it's going to be hard, especially with Kesby and Kirby leading the way. Kesby's behind him, so Kesby's going to take 30 points. So he's going to go up onto 125, and Troy Uyan is down in 6th at the moment. Not the massive amount of points haul. He's only going to get 16 points. So he's going to be even further back from Dan Kirby, who's going to be sitting in 2nd place on a 26-point haul. So, yeah, for Uyan, he needs to get a bit of a wriggle on, should we say? But he ain't got long to maintain that, has he? He's only got 27 minutes left.
Although still got some pit stops to facilitate before that anyway. So it's about how hard can Troy Uyan start pushing. The gap between him and John Mayer is about 9.5 seconds. So that's the Lamborghini of Lanny Hall, I think, just nearly lost it in front of him through the S's. And Troy Uyan doing exactly what he did previous lap on Scar Pope to get through. And now Troy Uyan has a gap over Scar Pope that's going to be north of 2.5, probably close to 3 seconds advantage by the end of this lap here, as we're soon to complete lap number 42 of this race here at Watkins Glen. Track temperature 40 degrees Celsius, air temperature 15, no rain in the air, any saturation nearby, but still a little bit darker, a little bit grey, a little bit overcast here at the Glen itself. But 26 minutes to go. Esby still leading. Lanny Hall is currently P3 in the Hypercar Am class, which sees Graf and Ducati leading in Aston Martin Valkyrie 1-2. Hall makes a little bit of a misjudgment.
No, he's letting him back through.
He was just letting those guys through, so that would have been Scar Pope and Jerry Chen. They're battling over P7, hammer and tongs at the moment. They're going to go through into the final corner and then cross the stripe. But Kesby leading Kirby by 8.4 seconds as we're now on lap 42 of this race. And still the ferocity of the pace that we're seeing from the drivers, especially the hypercars round here at the Glen. We knew that there were going to be plenty of good passing opportunities, but it was the fact of how the hypercars were going to manage their way.
There you go, Jerry.
Around this circuit. Jerry Chen, that was robust, but it was needed. And all Scar Pope trying to dive up the inside. Jerry Chen nearly loses it, but holds on to that wagging tail on the back of that Porsche 963 to hold on to 7th. Well held, Jerry.
Yeah, and it took him 2 chances getting overtaken on the inside there. Did he realise that he should be on the outside for Jerry Chen? So fair play to you for acknowledging the fact that you did need to be on the outside of that bus stop. That inner loop on the inside is absolutely rotten as a corner. So yeah, be on the outside makes it a little bit easier for you, and he does make his way through as well. I was sitting here, the reason I was looking at Lanny Hall, and I just had a bit of a moment. I'm sitting here thinking, that's the Lamborghini, and I would have loved to have seen that in a completely different colour scheme. Now, I don't know what colour scheme, Alex, to be honest with you. Something bright and beautiful. Maybe the yellow of the Gallardo that they brought out as well. And, you know, mix it up a little bit. That just looks a little bit But what I will say to you at the same time for Lanny Hall is if you look on both wings going from that cockpit picture, he's clearly hit something because he's got damage back towards the cab. But you can see the front left and right have both been in the wars at some point of Lanny Hall, so he's clearly gone and hit something at the same time. But yeah, I'd like to have seen the Lamborghini in a different colour light, I think, to give it a little bit more exclamation, I suppose, on the way.
Wow factor.
Yeah, it needed to be bright, and as I said, maybe the yellow of the Gallardo or something like that, or the bright. What did they bring out after that as well? There was the yellow.
Well, it was the bright green that the Lamborghini SC63 came out with as the launch livery, and it was actually really, really bright. Funny thing is, I'm actually going to
buy a Lamborghini.
Send you a,
oh, sorry.
No. I'm going to send you the image via DM in a second. But it was just one of those liveries that just popped and you just went, wow, that looks cool.
Yeah, there has been a couple of nice colours on the Lambo as well. And that's the thing, yeah, something like that. You know, it needed to be a little bit brighter, a little bit more beautiful. Almost for Lanny Hall as well. Sorry, Lanny, if you watch this back and think they're bashing my livery. I'm not. I'm just saying I would like to have done it a little bit more amazing. Scar Pope has gone in pit lane there as well. So maybe next time, Lanny. Maybe next time. Here at the same time. Pit stop circles coming in towards the end. This is where it's all going to juggle it up. Icharzo is in pit lane. That should be his final stop with 22 minutes to go. Tucker Martin is been in, I believe, and out again. So yeah, going to be an interesting jiggle coming in towards the end of this at the moment. And is Martin going to get over the top of Luciano Icharzo? He has. So Icharzo does end up down in fourth. So it's going to be how he can get on with JT Tammy. I think is going to be his closest one here as well. But yeah, Icharzo needs to keep on and needs that fourth place.
Yeah, that's going to be the crucial thing here for the man who's currently leading the LMP2 standings coming into this this round of the championship. You know, we've hit the halfway point, and now this is where all mistakes have to be eliminated. You cannot put a foot wrong. But of course, as we all know, JP, that, you know, yes, consistency helps you win a championship. You've also got to have a little bit of lady luck on your side. Now, there's one particular driver who I remember actually being quoted on the, if anyone might remember, the Truth in 24 Audi documentaries of when Audi Sport were dominant in the LMP1 class of WEC and at Le Mans. Alan McNish, they would always put in that car alongside Dindo Capello and Tom Christensen to start, because everyone knew that Alan McNish would be 11 tenths, and he said, I don't believe in luck, I believe in preparation. And if anyone might remember the big smash that he had in the year when Audi were down to one car that was piloted by Marcel Fessler, Benoit Trullier and Andre Lotterer against 4 Peugeot 908 HDIs, that you had Alan McNish crashing within the first hour whilst taking the lead from Timo Bernhardt, and then you had Mike Rockenfeller crashing at 3 in the morning down the Mulsanne at over 310 kph. They needed luck on their side that year, and with those 3 drivers that ended up winning in the form of Trullier, Fessler and Lotterer, they definitely had a bit of luck on their side. But it is a case of how you make the best of said luck as well, isn't it, JP? You've got to take it. Got to take the luck with a little pinch of salt, but as long as you prepared as best you can and know that you put everything on the table. Dan Kirby, I think, has just come in on lap 45. That is going to be his final pit stop, I think, because we're just under the 20-minute mark to go. So that'll take him to the flag. Now, the big question will be on when Canabasac pits, when Kesby pits, also Johnny Gutierrez. Now, this is the longest I think that Johnny Gutierrez, touch wood, has been in a race for this season. And he has, but to be in the top 5 at this point in a race this season. Troy Uyen is pitting for the final time in the number 24. And Norm Graff has made his way up into P5 overall. And he's looking very, very good indeed, is Norm Graff. You know, Lanny Hall, Carl Strahal, they will be finishing a long way back. Strahal will be 4th. Lanny Hall currently P3. There's Brian Hall in the number in the other Lamborghini, and they're both still running. Yes. The thing is, both those cars haven't really hit trouble. The whole Lamborghinis. Neither of them have hit trouble so far in this race. They've kept on going.
Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Oh, Troy and John Mayer. This is for on track, of course.
Canabasac now pits for the final time, so that's going to be his 3rd and final pit stop. So it's going to be about how long Kesby will be on his marks. Gutierrez will pit. Now, he's covered him off. So this could give the opportunity to Troy Uyen to get a little bit closer, because Canabasac has now been on his marks for 10, 11, 12, I think that 15 seconds. Gutierrez yet to hit his marks in the pit lane, but he could be a little bit closer to the pit lane entry. So the transit time will be a bit more compromised on the first part rather than the second part of it. And Gutierrez has now got going. So has Canabasac. So Canabasac will come out in
Down
3rd.
on the right hand side, look. Troy Uyen. Oh no, that wasn't Troy Uyen. That was somebody else in there behind him.
That probably would have been, well, John Mayer is not that far behind him either.
Yeah, that's Mayer and
Uyen. Yeah.
So Gutierrez does make it out with plenty of time to play around with there as well. He's now just chasing Canabasac by about, I think it's like 5.5 seconds. There's Canabasac underneath, there's Gutierrez still going. I think that is back markers in behind as well. It does look like Lanny Hall. No, it doesn't. It did look like Lanny Hall, but who is that behind him? Somebody behind him as well on that one. For John.
Well, that's Carl. Well, you got Carl Strahal there.
Yeah.
Gilles
them
Lalonde
two there in the background.
Yeah, Gilles Lalonde's coming for his final pit stop. Yellow out in sector 3. Michael Locker's coming for, I think, for what will be his final pit stop.
Oh, dearie me.
What have you seen? Oh no. And this is.
Oh, Brian Hall was very slow there. I think that's why the yellow got called. He just kind of stopped in pit lane entry and then got going again. A little bit bizarre, but there we go.
Yeah, so that's going to be his final pit stop. But Ben Kesby, when will he pit? We're coming up to just over 15.5 minutes to go here at the Glen for round 6 of the season. And he has led pretty much from lights out so far. He's now in pit lane on lap 47. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he's on his marks and how long the pit stop is going to take for the number 9. So there is Daniel Kirby making his way down. The gap is coming down 27, 26. I don't think it's going to be enough, because I would imagine that Kesby is going to be out very soon. Kesby is moving now.
Yeah, Kirby's
right at the end of pit
him.
lane. Oh, Norm Graff has just got a penalty. That's probably not going to hurt him too much, because he's got a big difference between himself. Scar Pope has just DNF.
Yeah, I've just seen that. Oh. What did we do there, Scott? Oh.
Oh, that's behind the 78 Mercedes of David Anderson.
dude.
Oh, no! Oh, he gets hit! Oh, that was the other Aston Martin. Was that Philippe Ducati?
Yeah.
I think it was. Oh, Philippe Ducati came in with a full head of speed. So Scarpope clashes with David Anderson, loses the back end, and bang! Straight into the side. Rolls the Aston Martin of Scarpope. And Philippe Ducati, I mean, we're going to see the onboard here. Brace yourself. Bang.
Oh, nowhere to go, bro. Poor old Ducati there was kind of lost in no man's land. Even off the offboard, you can see they come together. He just comes straight back across the track at him. They link together, and Ducati goes round and lands on his wheel. Was lucky enough as well, but yeah, not good for either of them two gentlemen.
Yeah, that is a real shame. But
Mercedes, the problem is that Mercedes was trying to go in pit lane.
Yeah, and I think maybe Scarpope should have just waited a couple of seconds to see what happened. I think it was just, again, it's the patience is a virtue. That is the subtitle I've been saying all night long here on this broadcast at Watkins Glen. As now we've got, that is...
Brian Hall going wrong there.
Yeah, that was very, very close between both cars there at that time. But, yeah. So at the moment, well, Ben Kesby has a lead over Dan Kirby of 15.5 seconds with 13 minutes to go on the clock before we conclude the race action here at round 6 of the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship. A big thank you to everyone that's been sticking with us all so far, and we hopefully will have Mr. Ross Smith back with us for Mosport on July 24th. But again, this is where back marker traffic plays its hand into the drivers and their respective strategies. Brian Hall, currently 8th in the hypercar class, running 11th overall. He's still keeping that car out on circuit and trying to do what he can not to compromise everybody else, either in front or behind him thereof, as John Mayer powers past. So does
he didn't power pass there, Alex. I'm just going to cut in on you for 2 seconds. He didn't power pass. He got stuck. And the reason he got stuck is because he was right in behind Troy Uyan, and he's now 2 seconds back. So between the back markers and traffic, he got horrendously stuck there and didn't go anywhere. And Brian Hall was one of them that, well, got him stuck, should we say. Oh, and then he goes and does...
Okay, let's get the sass, Mr. Sassy Pants.
Well, I'm just saying, there as well. He got stuck also as well.
I'm just kidding with you.
Mosport is July 17th. Not 24th,
no,
just in case
no,
anybody
no,
at home
it is,
well.
because that's the P Cup. That's the Porsche Cup race.
Hold on. I got... Oh, no, it is. You're right. I was reading the wrong one. I'll shut up. All right,
See?
Sassy Pants. It's too early in the morning for that.
Hey, stop taking my words.
Hey, listen, you used them. I'm just bringing it back. Yeah, you are right. So there you go. I'll shut up and sit in the back. I'll
Norm
just press
Graff was
buttons.
actually... Oh, hang on. There was a last-minute pit stop for Norm Graff there. Now, he did have to serve a penalty. But did he have to do a bit of a splash and dash? I think he might have done, just to cover off, well, Philippe Ducati, because, well, Ducati's quite a way back. But... yeah, there was a penalty showing up for Norm Graff on the server itself, but it is coming down to the final 10.5 minutes, and I think I've lost count of the amount. Well, what was it? We've had nearly 2 rollovers tonight, or we've had 1 rollover and 1 near rollover with Alan Holden. We've got another Champion Motorsports replay coming up. This is with Mustak, and that was going a bit too wide.
Yeah, he just went a little bit hot there. Sorry, I thought it was a bit more dramatic than that, but clearly not. So there we go.
Yeah, but he's just throwing it around the outside of the number 23, Alexander McQuarrie. 10 minutes to go, yellow out in sector 2. McQuarrie still leading in the LM GT3 AMS, but that is the Mercedes, isn't it? I think that was David
David
Anderson
Anderson.
around. I saw it. What has he done?
God, he got split like a banana.
Oy, no, 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 no. Oh, that was two hypercars, one round the outside, one round the inside. I think one of them was Norm Graff. The other one, that was definitely one of the caddies. I'm wondering whether it was, I'm not sure, it might have been John Mayer who was actually a lap ahead of him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was bodywork fly there. There you go. There's a little bit of bodywork flying off as well for David. I don't think it was Anderson's car that had the bodywork, but... Did he get this back on track here, or did he spin this up again? Oh no, he hit the wall.
Oy.
Oh, David Anderson. Not ideal.
Oh, it was Norm Graff that was actually the car on the inside. And he's in the pits again.
Yeah, I think that was damage for Norm Graff there, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, Alex, I think, on that one. But, yeah, coming in towards the end, how long we got left? About 8.5 minutes to go. And Graff from Hypercar Am in pit lane once more. He's back out again now, which is always good. And on his way once more.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of distance between him and Philip Ducati in the number 23 Aston Martin Valkyrie. There's Paul Robert Reyes having to go avoidance and kick up the dust. I think someone just gave him a little bit of an elbows out situation there going to the inner loop, and that is the man that was leading LMGT3, because James Walker now leads that class. And Walker is now ahead by about 26 seconds.
Sounds like a pit stop to me.
Hmm.
Don't know if Walker's got to come in yet, because that does sound like a pit stop length.
Yeah.
More
Not too
than
sure on
anything
last time.
else.
Unless he's not going to come in this time.
No.
Unless he thinks he can make it on the.
Well, it'd be
I mean,
amazing if he did.
What was it? I think in the challenges for the GT3s, I think we were saying possibly 2, maybe 3 stops would be required. Now, looking at the LMGT3s, I haven't seen anyone that has come in for a third stop.
No, it does say
So,
2. I don't think Albert Reyes had any drama. I'm just going to check. Oh, hold on a minute. What happened here?
That was when he went off circuit.
Yeah, he
Just went straight on. Very much nearly in the same realms of Alan Holden a little bit earlier on in the race.
Yeah, but he did that a lot better than Holden did.
Yes, agreed. 100% agree with you on that. But
Does seem. How many times has Walker been in pit lane here? Don't have that data. How many times has he been in?
well, it was showing 1. Yeah, well, it's not always. Yeah, with the RF2 software, it doesn't always recognise all the pit stops. But
yeah, because
I mean,
Troy Uyan's been in for none, which doesn't make no sense considering we've seen
he's been in for 2 pit stops, I believe.
Does seem 25 seconds being a pit stop time though.
No, I would probably say got a gap of about 55 seconds, then 40 of that I would say would be about ample time for a pit stop, you know, by through transit time, putting fuel in the car. But if James Walker has just about done the right IQ strap for having to, you know, saving a little bit of fuel, I mean, the gap between him and Ryan Pulbert Reyes, I'm looking at the lap times. James Walker is lapping 2.2 seconds slower than Ryan Pulbert Reyes. James Walker's last lap was a 1:49.2. Ryan Pulbert Reyes was a 1:47.1. So that is, yeah, close to 2.2 seconds being taken out of Walker per lap. But even with 5 minutes to go, that is still not going to be enough unless Walker is just trying to fuel save as max as possible. He knows that, you know, he knows that he's going to be light on fuel. He's going to be thinking, okay, right, let's just keep an eye on the delta, and that's going to be quite crucial. And what he does not need to do is have any dramas with anybody else in front of him, especially when you've got 3 hypercars that have just gone through on him at the moment. So it's about just consolidating what could be a pretty solid win for the number 20, well, for this particular car, which at one point was running at the end of the top 3, the number 14 Dark Thunder Racing. So, you know, early doors for about the first 30 minutes, we saw Holden, Reyes and Walker pretty much inseparable, and now Walker has a lead of, well, that was a 1:49.932 that he's just come across the line, and very shortly I'll get the updated live timing on Ryan Pulbert Reyes's lap, which should be momentarily, and the gap's come down to about like 21 seconds. So I think there's still, yeah, that it is, like if there was 13 to 16 minutes to go and there was that differential between, yeah, it was a 1:47.9, so gap's come down to 21 seconds. I think Walker might have this sewn up unless that engine starts spluttering and he starts running out of fuel.
Yep, I think you might be right on that one, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do and get that to the end then, whether or not Walker's going to be able to do this or not. But they haven't got long left. He's only got 2.5 minutes to go here. Ben Kesby is going to have 1 and 1 more from where he looks like he is on track.
Yeah, Ben Kesby really has brought himself kicking and screaming with that Cadillac V Series R number 9 into the title fight, as we are going to have, yeah, 1 and 1 more. So out of the final corner, 2 laps remain. Ben Kesby crosses the line and will now head on to lap 57 of this race. Sparks flying from the left front diffuser, goes through the 90, and it's going to be up through the S's. And at the moment, well, Alec King at the moment has a big old lead over his nearest competitor, Taka Martin. JT Tammy is still in P3. Luciano Ichazo, unfortunately, is currently running down in P4, leading Hypercar AM. It is Norm Graff, who is very much on the way to securing another victory in the Hypercar AM class. Alexander McQuarrie has a big lead over Max Sunthornlap in the LMGT3 AM battle, but yeah, James Walker, 20 seconds. Yeah, there's no way that Ryan Pulbert Reyes is going to close that gap to the number 14 of James Walker from Dark Thunder Racing. It's going to be a fait accompli, as they say, and it is the fact that this man has done an absolute number on everybody else. He's led from lights out, and the way things have gone, it's going to be to check a flag, because next time around we'll have the white flag lap here at the 1.5 hours of the Glen here for round 6.
Yeah, we definitely are. And Ben Kesby is going to take that white flag now. Final lap of the race for him. Stellar job for Ben Kesby.
So 3.45 miles separates the number 9 Cadillac of Ben Kesby for victory here in round number 6 out of 11 for the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship at Watkins Glen International, through the S's at high velocity for the final time. Now onto the back stretch once more, and is going to be hitting speeds over 300 kilometers an hour, or 310 or close to it. That's over 190 miles an hour before the inner loop, as that is going to be, I think, Norm Graff just in front of him possibly, as he fires the Cadillac out of the outer loop down into the chute. Just toe the heel of the boots, and then a couple more corners remain. Be pretty straightforward. Ben Kesby has been nothing if not sensational and superlative. He's been absolutely on fire here tonight at the Glen. The clock strikes 0. Just a handful of corners remain. This man here, Ben Kesby, really has fired the big warning shot across the bow to Troy Uyen and to Daniel Kirby, as he's just got a couple more corners, a left and then a right, and then it is the checkered flag as Ben Kesby will power his way out of the final corner from lights out. The checkered flag to victory lane. It's the number 9, the Cadillac V-Series R of Ben Kesby, that takes the overall win for round number 6. But what a job he's done. What a job he's done all race long. And well, 3 wins out of the first 3 rounds. You can add a 4th to that one now for Alec King. Disaster for this man at Monterey at Laguna Seca. 2 big incidents at the same point on the circuit, but he's been nothing if not picture perfect, albeit being a bit impetuous at times. Alec King is going to bring himself back towards the sharp end of the standings in the 84 Oreca 07, and he's just got to make sure he makes it through the next bit of traffic in front of him. Nice and neatly does it. Don't overthink it. Pick your spots to overtake. And, well, what can you say about this man, JP? First 3 rounds, and it is going to be James Walker that is going to pick up the win in the LMGT3s, even though he's got a lap to go. He's definitely made sure that it's been his to take. Norm Graff will pick up the win in the Hypercar AM class, and it will be Alexander McQuarrie that will pick up the victory in the LMGT3 AM. But Alec King, again, just like Ben Kesby in Hypercar, has led the class in LMP2 from lights out to checkered.
Yeah, it comes over the line there. Great win for Alec King in the LMP2s. This is Alexander McQuarrie winning the LMGT3 AMs. He's going to come over the line as well. And James Walker has finished, and he's taken the victory in the GT3s with Alec King there, and Norm Graff, who's back in pit lane already, taking the win in the Hypercar AMs. So great job from everybody there. We're just waiting for Carl Struhel to come over the line. I believe he's the only one that hasn't finished at this moment in time, so I can't show you the results yet until he goes over the line, I believe. So I have to give him a minute to get to the end of the race. But great win for Kesby, King, Norm Graff, Walker, and Alexander McQuarrie.
Yeah, so Carl Strahal has brought the AM Racing Alliance Cadillac V Series to the checkered flag. He did put it on Hypercar AM class pole position earlier on, but early dramas meant that he would have to continue fighting his way through the field, and will pick up 4th place in the category. Oh, careful, Carl, careful. Don't stumble before you cross the start-finish line and take the checkered flag. But after an hour and a half of racing here at the Glen, the dust has settled here in the southern tip of Seneca Lake here in the surrounding New York area. It is going to be Carl Strahal that's going to power his way through the final corner, and he's going to bring the caddy across the line to finish 19th overall, 4th in the Hypercar AM classification. And that, as they say, folks, is that Ben Kesby, after 57 laps, picks up the overall win. Another win for the number 9, ahead of Daniel Kirby, who brings Aston Martin their first podium in the Hypercar overall class. Egert Kadabasak and the Pennzoil Cadillac rounds out the top 3. Good work by Johnny Gutierrez from Bad Day Racing to bring Peugeot into 4th, head of Troy Uyen, John Mayer and Jerry Chen. Alec King, the LMP2 class winner, takes the victory in 8th overall ahead of Brian Hall. Norm Graff rounds out the top 10, and another win for Aston Martin in Hypercar AM. Tucker Martin and JT Tammy ran at the top 3 in the LMP2 class, ahead of Luciano Uchazo. Gilles Lalonde and Michael Locke ran out the top 15 in Hypercar and LMP2, respectively. It's a 1-2 for Aston Martin in Hypercar AM, courtesy of Philip Ducati, with Sahil Mustak rounding out the top 17. Lanny Hall brings the Lamborghini across the line to finish 3rd in Hypercar AM, ahead of Carl Strahal. And James Walker, the LMGT3 class winner for this round here at round 6. Ryan Paulbert Reyes could have been on course for another win, but he's going to have to settle for 2nd. finishes ahead of the Aston Martin 174 of Matthew Overton, who rounds out the top 3 in LMGT3. Alexander McQuarrie picks up the win in LMGT3 AM ahead of a very difficult race for Alan Holden, the LMGT3 leader coming into this round of the season, ahead of Max Dunlap second in LMGT3 AM, with Stephen Miller and David Anderson, the last 2 classified finishers in this race. DNFs from Scar Pope, Preston McNair, Tom Nasella, Josh McGlinskey, and Don Fryman. Well, what can you say, folks? A hell of a race here at the Glen. What has been an exciting round number 6. We have got some drivers waiting in the interview zone. So first of all, let's bring in Alexander McQuarrie. Alexander, well, it was worth the wait you kept. The top 3 in LMGT3 and very, very much on their toes in the first few laps of this race, but congratulations on the win here at the Glen.
Thank you. I'd say it's probably some of the best racing I've done. I mean, the first, like you said, the first couple laps were like, I mean, it was a train. I mean, probably 4 or 5 laps, and then Mac finally overtook me in the bus stop. But I mean, I had to give it up to Mac. I mean, that was a great battle. He, I think he messed up in his pit strategy, or something happened, and that's the only reason why I got in front of him. So I'm pretty happy with the result.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to get back onto a proper racetrack. I mean, Detroit at Belle Isle last time out was as we said at the top of the broadcast, a bit of an anomaly, but it's nice to get back to a nice fast and flowing racetrack at the Glen.
You know, also nice not to blow my motor, because I have that. I blew my motor. I'm probably the only one of the only guys that blows their motors. I blew it at Detroit, and then I blew it at Le Mans. I'm just glad it didn't happen this time. So yeah, definitely happy with the win.
I mean, it also helps you in the standings for LMGT3 AM. Obviously, next time out on July 24th, we head to Mosport in Canada. Is that going to be another track that you're going to find is going to play to the strengths of the Aston Martin Vantage?
You know, I'm gonna have to figure that track out because I'm not too familiar with it. So I'm just gonna put in the time and learn the track and see what I can do.
Well, once again, congratulations on the LMGT3 AM class victory, Alexander. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Number one person, my girlfriend. She allows me to do this on Thursdays and Saturdays, and also my teammates, Mac and Ryan. So we actually, you guys too, and CMS. You know, so that's about it.
Brilliant. Well, Alexander, thanks for talking to us in the post-race interview show. We'll see you next time out for round 7 at Mosport in Canada. Well done tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Big thank you there to Alexander McQuarrie. But now we need to speak to another Aston Martin driver as our LMGT3 class winner joins us, James Walker from Dark Thunder Racing. James, firstly, congratulations. Welcome to Victory Lane. How does that one feel after 90 minutes at the Glen?
Very good and very sweaty. That was a really, really tough race.
It wasn't easy when, I think it was also, we had Ryan, we also had Alan, and then we had Alexander chasing you 3 guys down in the opening. I think it was the first 10 to 15 minutes. It was a bit of an LMGT3 freight train, wasn't it, between the quartet of you?
Yeah, it was a little bit. I think Alan was holding us up a little bit. Once Ryan got through, he managed to get a gap, and I managed to get an extra lap in out of the fuel and save my tyres, and I think that's what helped me to jump Ryan later on.
Yeah, I think he won by about 20 seconds at the end of the race, and we could see that Ryan was trying to do everything in his power to close the gap. But yeah, like you say, it's a very tough race here at the Glen. Next time out on July 24th, we head to Mosport in Canada. Thoughts ahead of that one?
Sort of a home race for me, so looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Well, James, congratulations on the win today here at round 6. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just everyone at CMS, Matthew for hosting the NARS series, you guys in broadcast booth for really setting us up for everyone to see. So Yeah, thanks very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, James. We'll see you next time for round 7.
Okay, see ya.
Well, back to winning ways and back to victory lane. Alec King lights out to checkered for the LMT2 class winner. Alec, how does it finally feel after the disaster at Monterey to finally win at the Glen? That's 4 wins out of the 5 rounds you've competed in so far this season.
Feels great. Definitely felt good to get a rebound win. Laguna was rough. Just made that little mistake. So this race, I was just trying to keep that little bit extra focus just throughout the race, just to not have anything happen. But no, I mean, it feels really good to rebound. I haven't been able to get on the sim really at all since Laguna. Just a lot of things going on behind the scenes with real life racing that we've just been crazy busy. Haven't really been able to drive. So I got in just about a day or two ago and tried to just get a couple laps in. And the fact we were able to get the win tonight and do it as dominant as what we've kind of been able to do, and just kind of get back on track to keep the ball rolling, feels really good.
Fantastic. Now, next time out, July 24th, we've got Mosport in Canada. That's going to be another fast-flowing track that could be quite conducive to the speed of that LMP2 Oreca, couldn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. I love Mosport, CTMP. It's actually one of my favorite tracks in a high downforce car, just because you get to send it through that track. It'll be tricky with traffic, just because of the speed disparity. The prototypes are going to carry a lot more speed than the GTs there, even more than what we have here. And with the LMP2, with how much downforce it is, even here, I was able to catch the back of the hypercars through some of the twisty bits. But I think there it'll be even more prominent. But we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited for it. Next round is also our historic throwback round. I'm going to try and work on some liveries for the Shade Tree Motorsports guys, and we'll have a couple throwback schemes for everybody. And just really looking forward to it. I'm happy to rebound tonight, and really looking forward to try and wrap up this championship in the next few rounds for this year.
Brilliant. Alec, congratulations once again, and really, really excited to see what those historic throwback liveries are going to look like for next time out. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just the whole Shade Tree Motorsports crew. We've been having a really good time this year. My teammate JT, Tucker Martin, Preston McNair, Josh McGlinskey, Cole McMillan, who couldn't be here tonight. Just the whole crew to help get everybody this thing going. Champion Sim Racing, Storm Gang Simulation. We've got a great thing going on here. All my family for watching and helping us out. And yeah, just thank you to you guys for commentating, and thank you for everybody for watching.
Brilliant. Alec, we'll see you next time out at CTMP for round 7 of the season.
Thank you, guys.
So a big thank you there to Alec King. It's going to be another win for the man, for the lover of the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Norm Graff joins us, the winner of Hypercar AM. Norm, firstly, congratulations on the victory, but you had a couple of scares in the latter part of the race as well, didn't you?
Oh, I really messed up my last pit stop and sped on pit road and got to stop and go and didn't get enough fuel and had to come back in. And yeah, and then I ran it on safety car fuel for the last 3 laps just to get to the end.
But still, also, there's a little bit of a historic moment, so to speak, that both you and Philippe, you both brought your Aston Martin Valkyries across the line, so it's a 1-2 for the Aston Martin Valkyrie crew, along with the fact that we also had another Valkyrie in the form of Dan Kirby taking P2 overall. Not a bad showing for the Valkyrie here at the Glen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good car here, I thought.
Yeah,
It worked out.
we definitely saw some really, really good pace, but obviously we saw that slight incident involving, I think it was yourself, the 78 Mercedes, I think, of David Anderson, in the latter stages before you had to come in for that splash and dash for about 10.5 seconds on pit road. But still, you managed to weather the storm. I think you won the class by, I think it was just about a lap. So it does go to show that the Valkyrie's still got plenty more to show the rest of the field for the remainder of the season. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and the tracks are coming up I think are more fitting for this car. It's not too slick on the road courses or the street courses for me.
Hmm. Well, once again, Norm, congratulations on another victory in Hypercar Am. Anyone you'd like to give a thank you shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to shout out to everybody for not yelling at me.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Norm, congratulations once again. We'll see you at CTMP Mosport for round 7 in the
Oh,
latter part of July.
okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a good one.
Big thank you there to Norm Graff. We've got one more driver to interview, and it's our overall race winner, Ben Kesby, joins us, the number 9 Cadillac, leading from lights out to checkered. Ben, you made that look easy, but it was far from it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy. It wasn't the hardest race I've ever had either. It was just trying to stay concentrated and not go into the back of GTs or LMPs.
Yeah, that's always the thing here when you got 3 different classes of very different speed differentials, especially going down that backstretch where I think you guys were hitting probably the best part of 305 kilometers an hour before hauling on the brakes going into the inner loop. But yeah, like you said, it was a case of just keeping your nose clean, crossing every T, dotting every I. What was the biggest challenge that you found apart from that around the circuit? Because it is quite fast and flowing here. I think you had a couple of moments yourself, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I probably did. Most of them, I think the only ones I can remember is I think I killed the first GT I came across, and then I very nearly went in the back of a couple of hypercars right near the end. But other than that, it was just fuel management, really. I was with the second stint, once I realised that I was doing the same pace as Kirby, but saving an extra lap of fuel, then I kind of realised I had it in the bag.
Yeah, well, congratulations on another victory this season. Thoughts ahead to CTMP Mosport in Canada, which is our next round, and then we really we get into the sort of like the no mistakes zone of this championship season. It's going to be a fast one for the hypercars, isn't it? There.
Yeah, I absolutely love that track. Wish we could drive it more and it was in more series. But then, yeah, I had a pretty bad start to the season, so it's nice to finally turn it around in the midway and hopefully finish good.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations once again on the win, Ben. And anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, thank you. Just everyone that runs this, you guys doing the broadcast. It's all very much appreciated.
Ben, thank you so much for your time, and we'll
No
see
worries.
you at Mosport for round 7.
Cheers, guys.
Well, JP, great to hear from all our respective class winners there. I think Watkins Glen has been a resounding success. Bring on the very fast roller coaster that is Mosport CTMP next time out on July 24th.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be an absolute classic. We've also got Mr. Overton sat in the booth with us here as well. Matt, final words from you, dear sir?
What a great race. I couldn't be happier with the turnout and the way the racing went. It was, everyone agreed, sweaty racing from start to finish. Lots of action. And yes, it sets up CTMP really nicely because they are similar types of track with that flowing, rolling countryside. So it'll be a game on again once we get there in July.
Did you enjoy your little bit of contact with the hypercar that sent you off on the outer loop?
I will be having a conversation. A little bit, just to talk about that.
I did wonder if that was coming,
yeah,
Matt.
I'm happy that I was able to save the car, get back on again, and keep going with no real damage. Fortunately, it was side by side, so yeah, that was a bit of a pucker moment there for a little while.
Yeah, definitely had our hearts in our mouth on that one as well, to be honest with you, Matt. But still a solid result for you this time as well. Let's not forget.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm really pleased up the podium. I'm quite happy with P3. It's the third time I've done it in class this season, so feeling pretty chuffed about that. And
good points haul for your team
to,
as well, by the way.
Pardon me?
Good points haul for your team.
Oh yes, absolutely. Alexander just rocketed around the track. In fact, I was talking to him about what happened to his pace when I passed him. He said, well, he was feeling the tires were a bit sketchy, and he was well enough ahead that he didn't want to risk anything, so he just cooled his jets a bit while I was trying to chase down Ryan. to no avail.
Should well, saying the last time I did the scores with about 20 minutes to go, you were on 229 and taking the lead in the teams. So, be interested to see how you end up after this one.
Yes. Well, I'm just looking at it. Yeah. So we have, in fact, leapt over the team of LSD Motorsports, Eric and Mac. Mac, I don't know what happened to him. I got to talk to him because he was pushing me pretty. We were having a good sort of run at each other, and then he just sort of disappeared after the second pits rotation. But they still got points. I think he suffered a bit with Eric not finishing. Did Eric not finish? Is that what happened?
Eric wasn't here.
Wasn't here. So yeah, he suffered from a did not race. But I'm pretty sure. No, Eric was here. Talking. No, that's Detroit. Yeah. So so he suffered. Yeah, he did not start. So they'll be back at us pretty hard, I think, as a team for the next series of races. I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, Matthew, good to chat to you as always.
Yeah, thank you,
JP.
guys.
Yep, JP, final words before we close things off today?
Don't miss Mosport. It's going to be a banger.
Yep. So, on that note, folks, this has been live coverage of the NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship. Big thank you to everyone that's been competing tonight. A big thank you to everyone that's been watching, not just on the Champion Sim Racing YouTube channel, but also on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel as well. We will be back in action for round 7 of the 2025 calendar, July the 24th, 2025. Mark that date in your diaries, as we'll be going at CTMP, Mosport in Canada, for 1.5 hours. You've been in the company of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt. This has been a JP Broadcasting production. Well, as always, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, you better go flat out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.